Hey everyone, welcome to Bald Guy Money. I am Bald Guy, and 2 weeks ago I did a risky thing. Gold was $2,165 per ounce, and I came on here and I told you all that I'm biting the bullet and buying gold because I expected a price breakout to bring us from $2,165 an ounce all the way up to an optimistic target of $2,325.97 per ounce, as you can see here in this image from that video. And for those of you who watched that video, I also said I expected a big move up on mining stocks over the same period, which is a trade I entered last year when I sold off tech positions I had bought up in October 2022. So here we are today, it's 2 weeks later, and gold is at $2,330.16 per ounce as of the Friday market close, and that's a 7.6% increase over the 2 weeks, and nearly 13% so far in 2024. The mining stocks, which were really not getting any love at all, are also starting to react to the reality we're finding ourselves in. Here you can see the large miner ETF, the GDX, is up more than 16% over the last month and close to 30% over the last 6 months. Finally, we're starting to see silver catch up to gold, very much in line with what I said here on December 3rd of last year. And for those of you who didn't see that video, here is a short clip of what I said on the topic of the price of silver as well as inflation. We can confidently say that we are looking at a period of 2 to 14 months before silver catches up to the current trend in gold. And I am inclined to say that will likely be the first half of 2024, which is in line with predictions I have been making on silver since 2022 for those of you who have been following me since then. And I really believe that this is going to happen as inflation starts to ripple through the market once again, as I alluded to earlier, 4 to 6 months from now. So it's pretty obvious from that clip that the market is developing very much in line with my short and long-term expectations, especially considering the fact that I said there was a high probability of silver outperforming gold in 2024, which it is, being up more than 15% so far in 2024. But instead of giving you all a Bald Guy Money Channel history lesson, in this video I want to keep it simple and talk about if I think this is the top for gold and silver, why or why not. I want to talk about how much longer I think this current upward trend in metals can last. And before I get into this video's viewer question, I want to talk about just how high I think gold and silver can go in this bull run. Now, just before we get into it, if you're in the USA and want to add real gold and silver to your portfolio without having to worry about overpaying or about the legitimacy of the gold and silver, please check out channel partner Pimbex at pimbex.com or call them at the number on the screen. And for those of you who want to get some gold and silver in your IRA, they can help. Call them for a free consultation to find out how. Just please tell them you came from the Bald Guy Money Channel. So, getting right into it, is this the top for gold and silver? Is the ground crumbling beneath our feet? Well, from my point of view, this is not the top. In fact, if anything, the market is confirming that we are in a bull run for metals right now. And why I say that is because of this chart you're looking at here. This is a 5-year chart for gold showing the price development on a weekly basis, where each one of the candles on the chart represents 1 week price action for gold. Now, if you don't know how to read a candle, don't worry. What I want you to pay attention to are the skinny lines you can see here that are coming out of the top of the bars in the parts of the chart I have marked as price rejections. And I have even blown up those bits of the chart for you so you can see them better. And what those skinny lines coming out of the top of those bars are telling us is that the price during the week moved up to a higher level, to the top of that skinny line, but the market was not satisfied with those prices. People took profit. People sold off gold, pushing the price back down into the thicker bar area where the price closed for that week. And although some of these weekly candles are not what I would call textbook topping tails, which is a technical trading signal that shows the market is rejecting a higher price and a downward price move can be expected, these are very close to that. And as I've indicated on the chart here, they did result in downward moves after the initial price rejection. Now, if you look at the part I've blown up on the right side of the image, you can see the last 5 weeks for gold. And yes, a couple weeks ago when I made my bold prediction, we were putting in a bit of a topping tail here. And that's ultimately why I think so many people in the gold and silver space were calling for a pullback in the price of gold when I was saying the opposite would happen. Nonetheless, if we look at the last 2 weeks, you can all clearly see that the market is absorbing these higher prices. We are not seeing major rejections like we were before, which tells me that although we will likely experience some price consolidation at some point in April or May, and that means some people will start to take profits at these levels, and we will see some sideways or maybe even slightly downward movement for a week or two at some point in April or May until we get another catalyst for the next move up. But despite that, the fact that there is still appetite for gold at these prices is very bullish for gold and for silver, and that's why we are not at the top, not yet. So, if we're in a bull run, how long can this last before we reach the true top? Before we put in new all-time highs and before we pull back and settle into new higher trading ranges? Well, if we take the last metals bull market as an example, according to my assessment, and this slightly varies from the official version by the way, but I say that bull market lasted 10 years, from 2002 to 2011. Now, some people say that the bull market started back in 1999, but looking at the average annual closing prices for both gold and silver, which is what I'm showing you here on the screen, with 2024's price being the current price that we have now, I would say that bull market started in 2002, and that means if we are in a gold and silver bull market right now, it could last for 10 years. Now, does that mean 10 years from today? Probably not. Because if we look at the average closing prices for gold and silver over the past few years, I think we'll look back, sometime in the future and argue that the bull market for metals that we're in right now started in 2022 as we've steadily moved up every year since then. And as is always the case with silver and gold, remember this everybody, please, this is a very important thing I'm about to say, it is that things take a long time with silver and gold. This is a game for the patient at the end of the day. This current bull market could last all the way out until 2031. This is not a crypto 1 year, 2 year bull market. This is something that can last for a very long time, everyone. And if you're wondering how high I think the price can go for both gold and silver, if we look at the last bull run, I've marked the increase there in the average closing prices. You can see that's a 663% increase in the price of silver over that period and a 407% increase in the price of gold over the same period. And if you're wondering how high I think the price can go this time around, and this is more or less in current US dollar value terms to make this information useful, so please, let's save the comments on how gold is going to $1 billion an ounce because of how much money they're printing. I get it, but I have to do these videos to keep things in perspective and again to keep the information useful for everybody. And considering the performance from the previous bull run and assuming a conservative 50% return versus what we got in the last bull run compared to where we started price-wise in 2022 when I'm saying this current metals bull run started, I would say that when the dust settles, we could be in the range of $93.95 per troy ounce of silver and $5,471.74 for an ounce of gold. And yes, some of you may think these are conservative estimates. I'm okay with that. Yes, we may see prices actually go higher than these numbers, but I plan for realistic scenarios, and I think my record here on YouTube speaks for itself, especially my recent record. So please treat these numbers as conservative targets when planning out to the year 2031. And anything more, any higher prices that we get that are higher than these conservative estimates, that will just be cream on top of the cake. That will be the cherry on top, the icing on the cake, however you want to put it. That will be just more than what we were expecting. Now, before I get to this video's viewer question, just a reminder to you all that I am on Patreon. I will be raising the price soon, so if you want to lock in at a lower price, please consider joining this weekend. You get lots of extra content as well as access to the private Discord where I am active in chatting with members every single day. If you're interested in joining the Patreon, link to join is in the video description and pinned comment. And if you join for a whole year, you get an additional 16% discount on your membership. And please keep that in mind because that will help you lock in the price for a longer period of time because, as I said, prices will be going up there soon. Okay, so now we're moving on to the viewer question for this video. And remember everyone, I answer a viewer question in every video I do, so leave your questions in the comments section of this video right now, and it just may appear in my next video. And this week's question comes from Ken Peters. And he asked, Mr. Bald Guy, you sent me a message that you wouldn't buy platinum. In fact, I think I replied to one of your comments, sir. And he asked, why not? 45 years ago, I made a lot in it when price moved higher than gold. Right now, I am thinking if gold goes too high, people will go to silver and platinum. So why would you not buy platinum, Ken P? And I love this question. I cover it from time to time here on the channel, but it's important that you all have the latest information on how I see platinum, especially because it is kind of becoming a hot topic right now. And I want to keep you all informed with respect to if anything's changed from my point of view and whether I've started stacking it or whether I'm still bearish on platinum. So let's start from a chart on platinum price. This one shows the 5-year development of the price of platinum, and as you can all see, it's fairly flat, with platinum trading in a very tight range. And this is really no surprise to me. I did a video on why I don't stack platinum a couple years ago. I said I don't see it making any great moves over the next few years. Clearly, it hasn't. And the main reasons I don't stack platinum, I don't buy platinum, I don't own platinum are, number one, platinum bullion coins are not liquid. The market for them is small. It's much smaller than the market for gold coins, for silver coins, and they rarely, I wanted to say never, but I'm going to say rarely, sell back at spot price. In fact, very often they sell for large percentages below spot because dealers simply don't want them because it's very hard for them to move on to other people. Now, the second reason why I don't buy platinum, I don't own platinum, I don't stack platinum, is that industrial demand for platinum is shaky right now. And I don't want to get into the details of that. You can go back to that video I did a couple years ago if you're interested in seeing what I have to say on that topic. But silver is the way to play metals in industry, at least from my point of view, and silver is much more liquid than platinum. Finally, platinum lacks a proper history as a monetary metal. It simply has not served the same role as gold and silver throughout history, and psychologically for humans, that's important. That actually makes a tangible difference, and I'm hoping that you're all seeing how tangible a difference that is when you look at this chart versus some of the other charts that I've shown, or just pull up a chart of gold and silver and compare it to what you see here on platinum. And that is why I always urge people who want exposure to precious metals in their portfolio to focus on gold and silver. That, from my point of view, is where the game is at, and that's where you're going to protect yourself the best way. With that said, that's it for this video. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in my makeshift studio. Yes, you probably noticed I am traveling. I even have a weird sweater on. I hope that the sound quality was good enough for everybody. I'm struggling a little bit with the setup today, but I do appreciate you all watching. And until the next time we see each other, everyone, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Goodbye.